Hi, long time no see.
Hi!
Alright, so we just finished watching the first episode of The Last of Us.
Overall impressions.
I love it.
I think they did a really great job. I think they really got the energy and the feeling of that opening section where you had the tragedy, you had the tension. I like how they handled Sarah differently because like in the game, you play her right away. So that automatically kind of puts you more invested in that character because it's your point of view character. You're right in there, you know?
Yep.
And instead, they had to take a little bit longer to flesh out that backstory. I feel like they needed to spend that extra time with her to get that feeling for that payoff.
Yeah, I definitely love that they expanded on the backstory a little bit, just showing what happened before. Sarah did a really good job with her character, just making you fall in love with her, like just almost right away. I love the intro of the episode where they showed an old video from the 60s, I think it was.
Yeah.
Just explaining, you know, everything. I can't even remember how they explain it on the game, to be honest with you, but I like that intro because when they make a show, they have to make it for people that haven't played the game. I mean, it's good. We've played the game, so we know the story, but a lot of people watching this for the first time, they have no idea. So it was a good intro that explained what was going to happen later with the cordyceps. I love how they casted all the characters. I think they all did a good job. Tommy sounds like Tommy. Like, it sounds just like him. When he started talking, I'm like, oh my god.
Is that actually him? And then we looked it up and it's like, no, this is the guy in the game, this is the guy in the show. And they're different people, but they do have a very similar timbre to their voice.
Yeah, they did really good.
Tess also, they got Tess really well. And her voice sounds a lot like the actress, but again, game, show, different actress. But I also liked how they aged her a little bit. Like in the game, I always felt like she looked like she was maybe in her 30s. Like she looked young to me in the game. And it's kind of established that Joel is in his 50s, so it made it awkward. So I actually like that she looks more like she's similar age, you know, getting late 40s, early 50s type thing to kind of, they're the same age. I liked that a lot, actually. And good representation, too. Seeing a 50-year-old woman be a badass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I love Marlene's characters too. It was so interesting how they did the story because in the game, Marlene and Ellie like knew each other for a while, and here Ellie didn't know Marlene. Marlene knew Ellie.
I thought it was from the comics, is where I was thinking she knew Marlene before. She actually met Marlene through Riley. I liked that detail though, where Ellie was like, "What are you, my mom?" And she's like, "Do I look like your mom?" And Ellie's like,
"No, you do not."
Ellie's characters.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love it.
I love that she opened with a "fuck you," just like right off the bat. I can understand though. Like that's I think what is so wonderful about Ellie is that she's saying how all of us would feel. Like she's chained to the wall, potentially for days. Like actually for days. She was chained to the wall. People are coming in and telling her to count to 10 and say her name every fucking day. And she's like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, fuck you. Like, I get it. Like, I feel like we would all be at least mentally thinking it, if not out loud, you know?
What did she say her name was? Veronica?
Veronica? Like, why Veronica? Like, I guess why not? It's just like, Veronica. Maybe it's not anything, but there were a lot of Easter eggs that I saw. I popped on Reddit real quick and I saw that people were talking about someone saw Dina's bracelet in one of the buildings. There was...
What?
Yeah, someone saw the evil eye bracelet that Dina wears in part 2. They saw it in one of the buildings. So there were a lot of like little Easter eggs that were hidden, so I feel like the
I want to rewatch this now.
We have to rewatch it and pick up on all these little details.
Talking about the details, I like how it followed the game. Like, it followed the beginning of the game. Very similar, you know, through all the stages where it goes through the Fedra camp, whatever, where Joel and Tess are. And then when they, you know, go out, the whole, like, robbers area, them smuggling stuff. Like, I like how they show that. And then when they escape with Ellie, just that whole section with the guards and the lights, and then them in the dark just, you know, walking through these what was that, like the round tunnel thing? Like it's just they
Yes.
made like everything around, like they made it so similar to the game, and I love that they kept so much of it. I know some of the things are gonna be different, and that's okay, but I really love that they kept a lot of the game.
Your watch is broken.
It moved at a good clip too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the pacing was solid.
Yeah.
Like nothing was longer or too short. I mean, it took them a lot less time than it took us to get through that area.
Don't hit me! Hey! There! In your face!
Like a lot less time, but in all reality, I mean, when we were streaming, we made it to this same point in the game with this same amount of time that they spent in this episode.
Yep.
So I think they still managed to pace it well, but they, instead of having some of the stealthy and more gamey type aspects, they were able to spend that time with character development and stuff, and I think they did really good. Every detail they added, I don't think anything was retconned except for that farm that's on the wrong side of the road.
I heard a lot of people got mad about
A lot of people got mad about the farm being on the wrong side of the road. Like, I know everybody's been saying it, but it is the best video game adaptation that I've ever seen. And it's purely because they are getting the point. The moment of connection where Ellie is behind Joel and he's having to protect his daughter a second time, and he just loses it and just punches the shit out of this guy. Like, it cements that idea that all of a sudden, you know, he's in this position where he's protecting this little girl, and for that moment, he's back in time, and it's Sarah. They do that with a couple of different things where they try to connect Ellie to Sarah, even though they also tried to separate them. Like, Neil Druckmann said that Sarah's reaction to Joel killing someone is very different from Ellie's response.
Yeah.
And they did that to kind of help differentiate the girls.
Yeah.
But they also connect them in certain ways. Like there's a scene where they're in Joel's apartment and you see Ellie next to the butterfly, and the butterflies are in Sarah's room. And so it kind of, I'm interested to see also how they take these motifs and like tie those girls together, but also keep them, you know, separate. Comment below, what did you guys think? What kind of Easter eggs did you notice? And what are your thoughts on the episode?
Thanks for watching.
Bye!